YouTube channel. How are you? Hope you are fine. I am Professor Qayum Mangi, Principal, College of Superior Services, CSS Academy Sakhar. This is lecture about the political philosophy, Fabianism. This is important topic of subject, history, political science, political thought, and sociology taught in universities of the world to the students of graduation and masters. This topic is also helpful for the competitive examinations of world countries such as United States of America, China, European countries, Australia, Canada, India, and Pakistan, and other countries also. This political theory was propounded and presented to deter and contain the fast-growing waves of communism in Europe and the world. Propounders were trying to curb its spread, communism's spread, by reforming their rotten and decaying prevalent system, which benefited only elite class of the world at the cost of lower strata at that time. The poverty, social decadence, economic deprivation, and inequality were rising in lower and middle class. Fabian philosophy was formed in 1884, before First World War. It could not curb the breeze of social equality brought by new ideologies, collapsed and added in 1930. As usual, Fabian society only worked for the European, not for the people of entire world. Wales and George Bernard Shaw were prominent Fabian socialists who regarded the transition from capitalism to socialism as a gradual process. They looked forward to the socialization of industry peacefully through the existing economic and political agencies or systems, and wanted to arouse the social conscience of community in favor of lower strata of society. They believed in evolutionary and constitutional methods and stood for reform and moderation, persuasion and permeation. In their countries, they were trying to introduce reforms through peaceful means, while exploiting and ruling the entire population of the world by sheer and brute force. George Bernard Shaw, Sidney Webb, and H.G. Wells were the prominent Fabian socialists who regarded the transition from capitalism to socialism as a gradual process, looked forward to the socialization of industry peacefully through the existing economic and political institutions, and wanted to arouse the social conscience of community in favor of the policy. Fabianism was a development on state socialism or collectivism. It differed from Marxism in some respects, and it rejected the Marxist doctrine of materialistic interpretation of history. Fabianists firmly believed in evolutionary and constitutional method and stood for reform and moderation, persuasion and permeation into the minds of people. They were not anti-state but wanted to reform the prevalent system for the greatest goods of the greatest number of masses. They wanted to deter the surge of new emerging ideologies in Europe through their reformed system. Eventually, they transformed the European society system and gradually defeated the communism, fascism and socialism. They gradually reformed their prevalent system by introducing legal, social, political and economic reforms. They strengthened their system, transformed and changed it by responding to the pulse of people and the impacted and influenced other social, economic and religious ideologies. Origin of the Fabian Socialism. The Fabian Society was formed in England in 1884. The Fabianists were appalled of the inhuman acts and cruelties of man to man. They wanted to improve the conditions of working class through state legislation. The Fabian Society was named after the great Roman general Fabius Canta, who defeated Hannibal, a Carthaginian general, through his long and delaying tactics. The Fabianists proposed to improve the conditions of working class gradually and step by step. The big force of Fabian Socialist Society created stirred dogmas and made the society intellectually strong and powerful with a new and practical social gospel. They were influenced by the American thinker and author Henry Judd, who wrote Progress and Poverty. They adopted also the economic theories, marginal utility theory and theory of rent of Ricardo. Features of Fabianism. Fabianism was essentially a middle-class movement, highly intellectual, launched to spread the doctrine of revolutionary socialism for general happiness and social welfare through persuasion and preaching. The main aim of Fabianism was to eliminate the evils and injustice of prevalent capitalism in the world. They advocated for extinction of private property in land and worked for transfer to the community. Fabianism aimed at reorganization of society by emancipation of land and industrial capital from individual and class ownership and the vesting of them in the community for general benefit and equitably shared by the whole people. The Fabianists worked for the consequent individual appropriation in the form of rent of the price paid for permission to use the earth, as well as for the advantages of superior soils and sites. For the attainment of these ends, the Fabian Society looks to the spread of socialist opinion and the social political changes. Fabianism desired to achieve these ends by general dissemination of knowledge as to the relation between individual and society in its economic, ethical and political aspects. Fabianism spread ideology and philosophy through pamphlet, novels, plays and peaceful means. In 1912, the Fabianists established the Fabianist Research Department to disseminate its principles. A Fabianist school was established in 1906 to educate society. The society joined the elements of trade unions movement to form the Independent Labour Party in 1888. During the period 1888 to 1894, many important reforms were introduced in local government in Great Britain. They wielded enormous influence not only in the Europe but also in the world. The departure of Fabian from this transitory world proved a fatal blow to the society, and it lost its old significance. Wish you good luck. See you in next lecture.